If you're thinking about new wedges, I've got my top 4 things to look out for if you're buying new wedges. Things like, what shaft is best in my wedge, what loft should I be looking for, and also, what is bounce and why is the grind more important? Well, look, before I get to that, I just want to talk you through some of the new TaylorMade wedges. These new MG4 wedges from TaylorMade, they're really worth a look and they're really worth a mention. They've gone for a new cleaner kind of a look, which I really like from these wedges, and also comes in 3 bounce options. You've got a standard bounce, a low bounce, and a high bounce, and they come in a myriad of different lofts to suit your different setup depending on the way that you play and what way you want to play with the wedges. Also, the face has these new 45-degree laser burned etching. They're like kind of mini grooves within the kind of spacing between the grooves to help wick away some of the moisture and create a better spin and contact in wet conditions. Also, it's got a raw, rusty face. Okay, this is important because a lot of people email me to say, hey, I got those wedges, but there's rust on the face, there's something wrong with them. There's not. This is a raw, untreated face section within the wedge, which is there to give it a kind of a darker look and also a softer feel. It does feel softer because it hasn't had that last chromium dip, but it will rust. As soon as you take the plastic off them, get them outside, they oxidize, and that face will rust over time. Relax, it's a good thing. It helps with the spin. Trust me, I've seen it. Okay, so let me get back to those 4 things to look out for if you're buying wedges. Okay, the first thing is match your lofts from your last wedge. So if you've got a set of irons and there's a pitching wedge, get the loft on that, and sometimes it's not what it says on the website, so get it checked, and then run your lofts in 4 or 5 degree increments from that loft. That will give you the correct spacing between the wedges to play the different distance shots that you're trying to play. Next thing is, get the best shaft for your wedge. I know, it's simple, just go in and buy the standard wedge shaft. Might not work for you. You need to test different shafts that may have been designed for a little bit more feel, a little bit more spin. We use KBS High Rev 2.0 a lot in our wedges because it has a softer tip section, has a little bit more feel for a bit of better sense of the club, but also helps with spin, so maybe check those out. But here's a little tip for you. If you're playing a really stiff shaft in your irons, it may be worth softening the flex in your wedges. So if you're playing X flex in irons, for instance, get a stiff flex. If you're playing stiff flex in the irons, maybe look at a regular flex or softening the flex. It will help with spin, it will help with flight, it will help with the distance control. Trust me, it's a great tip. Second thing is, match your wedges to your irons. It's not as simple as if you have a custom set of irons and you buy standard off-the-shelf wedges, they're not going to match, which means the spec isn't going to match, which means the distance control is not going to match. So you have to match your wedges to your irons. If your irons are custom, you've got to get the lies matched in your wedges. Make sure the lengths match so you don't have a fall or drop in length. Get the lengths to be consistent, and the swing weights have to run in progressive weighting from your pitching wedge across. So they usually run a little heavier. So if your pitching wedges say D3, D4, usually wedges go D5, D6 for a little bit more feel in the heads. Last thing is bounce. Don't worry too much about bounce. A really good fitter will help you pick the right bounce, but really in my experience, it's all about the grind. The grind on the sole of the club will help a lot with how you want to deliver the club head, how to get the ball into the face, and how to create this consistent, decent, quality spin shots as you're looking to do. Worry about the grind, not so much about the bounce. So in summary, these new MG4 wedges, this new groove, the way that they've been designed, they are definitely better for spin in the wet. So in wet conditions, we've seen them spin much more consistently, and then this new grind that they have on the sole is milled, which means it's a much more consistent delivery, so you'll see a better spin control, more consistent, and also way better in the wet. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll catch you at the next video.